it's Tania Gabrielle, Wealth Astro-Numerologist. Welcome to Star Codes, the podcast where we look at an upcoming event in the stars and numbers, the Astro-Numerology, to help us navigate the energy as best as we can. And in this case, it's June 2023. We're going to look at the numerology code. June, the 6th month, adds up to a 13 universal month in 2023. So you add 6 for June, plus 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 3, and it equals 13. Now notice right off the bat that 2023 ends in a 3, and 13 of course ends in a 3, and 3 is the triad, the mother, father, child triad of creation. So there's a lot of creative energy. There's a force coming through that is reminding you that you create your life. And that's not to put any kind of guilt or fear into you. It's to actually give you the confidence to know that no matter what is going on, you have the power to change it by being creative. So let's look more closely at June's 13 universal month. This number is extremely powerful in that it represents creation, life, death, rebirth. And as it happens, and this is obviously not a coincidence, as there are none, we have 13 weeks in a season. 52 weeks a year divided by 4 is 13. 4 seasons a year. 4 is the number that 13 reduces to. 1 plus 3 for 13 equals 4. So within this number 13, we have the whole natural experience of the 4 seasons represented here on planet Earth. We also have 13 lunation cycles in one calendar year. So not only do we have the 52-week cycle, which is divisible by 4, and results in 13, we also have 13 lunation cycles in that same year. So that shows you that the moon is intricately connected to nature, to change, to growth, and to life, death, rebirth, which is truly what we naturally go through as well. We all are born and we all eventually die. And depending on your belief or your sense of life in general, we come back and we return and we have these cycles. So cycles are very important in order to understand that nothing stays the same. So if we find ourselves in a bit of a pickle, we know that eventually, most likely very soon, because your attitude is really what matters, we will be able to move out of that feeling. So there are 13 lunations in the year, 13 weeks in a season, and there's another 13 to share with you, and that is that Venus has 13 cycles as well. Now, Venus and the moon represent the divine feminine, so this number is very much part of our divine feminine experience. However, it doesn't mean it's associated with women. It is just part of the experience, because we all have the sacred masculine and divine feminine within us, just like we have light and dark within us, right? So this experience of the 13 in June coincides with some major shifts that are presently occurring. And that is that in June, on the 11th, which is a master number in numerology, it represents a portal, Pluto, the planet that represents the same qualities as number 13, life, death, rebirth, transformation, which is exactly what 13 stands for. On that day, the 11th of June, in a 13 universal month, Pluto is actually moving back into Capricorn. So what is changing? What is it that we're focused on, especially since the 2020s started, but even before then? It is that we are calling for a transformation in power structures. Pluto stands for power, 13 stands for power. 13 has, and this is a bit of a side note, because I've talked about this before in previous Star Codes podcasts, 13 has been cast aside for many centuries in a very deliberate way, because it does represent your intuitive gift to empower yourself, and that and the divine feminine and intuition were not really welcome when the powers that be wanted their people to follow their rules. Intuition goes where intuition goes. It doesn't follow rules. And the divine feminine, the energy that is about love and nurturing, and is a very strong energy of change and support and emotional, heart-centered connection, was not welcome in this top-down system that had layers of people who are more considered more important versus those that were not. So Pluto changing direction and moving back, Pluto actually changed direction on May 1st, but Pluto moving back into Capricorn for over half a year. It won't be till January till it moves into Aquarius for a few months again. It's going back and forth, Pluto, between Aquarius and Capricorn, because it's a very slow moving planet and it has 2 retrogrades. So before it actually moves completely into Aquarius for 20 years, which happens end of 2024, it has these back and forth hovering over the 0 degree, going into late Capricorn, 27, 28, 29 degree, and back into Aquarius. So having said that, there truly is a moment now where we need to accept a real change in consciousness. We need to actually revolt against everything that's holding us back, and that's been holding us back for eons. We need to challenge the structures which are represented by Capricorn, where Pluto's moving back into on June 11th. We need to challenge those structures that are limiting our authentic progress. We need to challenge everything and everyone who is creating a false reality in order to gain control, because Pluto and 13 are about power. So the way that they would gain control is where you feel you have no choice, and that means you are put in a victim position. You're the powerless one. And it's time not to just sit here and take it. It's time to, and not just sit here and talk about it. It's time to rebel and say no and put our feet down and take our power back. So the number 13 in June is about this empowerment through transformation. And what is the transformation? It is the change in the way we put things into form, transform. So this is a call for revolution, but not in an aggressive way. This is an assertive revolution. It's focusing on what you really want to achieve, regardless of whether it feels like it's outside the box or not. 13 does represent genius. So 13 will bring ideas into the collective that seem outside the box. They actually are not, but they have not been utilized in so long, maybe never before now, that they seem outside the box. So it's not to shy away from that. It's still to move forward with that achievement, regardless of whether it seems pie in the sky or out of the box. So it's important to move towards achievement, regardless of whether the established order, represented by Capricorn, rejects it or not. It doesn't matter, in other words, because the established order is seeing their last days, their last years, their last decades. That is going to really be transformed as we transform. So we need to stay the course with this inner genius represented by the number 13, our ingenuity, inner genius. Genius, invention, transformation, they're not usually comfortable because they break through, they break the rules. They're less likely to be accepted because ingenuousness means new. Remember, the number 1 is the first time. It's forging ahead. So it's not usually accepted by the mainstream. And this isn't about the mainstream. It is truly about being the royal star of the lion of the number 2023, the year that we're in. 23 is the royal star of the lion number. And this is why the number 13 and 23 are merging together this month in a big way. So it could be that the structure of your internal world is alerting you to the need to do a complete overhaul somewhere, or to literally see things in a way that would have never dawned on you. And this is a place where you're seeing through the darkness. You are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. You're seeing actually the dawn. You're seeing the sun rise already. And that is what the 13 represents. Remember, it's the 4 seasons where we go through the dark winter into spring, into summer, into fall, and we continue this cycle, and we're not afraid of it. So in order to transform and go through these cycles of life as gracefully as possible, we must let go of our fear of change. We can't be afraid of something ending, because it's going to bring something so beautiful, the birth of something that is far greater than we could have imagined before the death happened. So that fear of change is being addressed this year, the year of courage, the year of leadership, the year of risk and adventure, the year of fearless exploration. Because when you live in the moment, you don't fear anything, because you are, to the core of your being, aligned with grace, with the light. So when you have these ingenious epiphanies, which are only light bulb moments, right? The light turns on. Epiphanies lead to miracles. And epiphanies come from listening to divine source coming through you, to God consciousness coming through you. It is being open to that, surrendering to it, and letting go, and being humble, having humility. So this is the revolution. It's accepting as you truly are at any moment. It is truly the cyclical transformation that you are now joyfully participating in. Understanding that revolution is just the revolution around a wheel. It is literally the cyclical revolution that we go through. It is the same word. So it's not to be afraid, and it's to allow change, which is what 13 embodies. And it's to empower yourself by assisting the change, which is also what 13 embodies. So be that source of light and allow yourself to go there, and be that for yourself and for others, because as you step into that empowerment in you, you literally exude it. You express it, you share it, and you inspire it in other people's hearts, just as they do to you. So for more on this incredible number 13, I have a free excerpt for you at premiumwealthforecast.com. It's the edition for June, and I think you'll really enjoy it. And that forecast that comes out every month before the month begins guides you through every star code day of the month. You receive a 40-plus page PDF for the Astrology Numerology for every day of the month, so you can plan ahead. You receive the lunation forecast, and you also receive a wonderful monthly transmission channeling from Merlin and Metatron. I channel the collective, and the messages every month are truly invigorating and inspiring. So take a look at that forecast, enjoy it. You can cancel anytime. And again, the free excerpt for June is at premiumwealthforecast.com. Have a beautiful month of June. Enjoy this number 13. Invite it into your life. And I will see you in next week's Star Codes podcast.